it's not necessarily about what you can physically touch and visually see. You have to use your imagination. I never thought I would say the word spectacular in Acapulco, but it just happened. Buenas tardes amigos, and welcome back to Acapulco. Yes, this is the second video from Acapulco, and today I'm in the Zocalo area. As promised in the last video, I'm coming to areas in this city that aren't necessarily touristy, you know, in comparison to resorts, beaches, hotels, that sort of thing. So that's what we're doing. And the Zocalo, for me, my first impressions of here is slightly strange, because it doesn't feel like a Zocalo that I've seen elsewhere in Mexico. There isn't this, you know, central bandstand thing. Yes, there's a big church behind me and there's a market around me, that sort of thing, but it feels different. And the word that I'm going to use to describe this, which is going to be a theme throughout this video, is the word deterioration. Alright, and the comments that I've had in the last video very much were from Mexicans who said to me that they used to come here as a child with their parents for a vacation, as a teenager, whatever, and very much back then, you know, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, it was the place to come in Mexico. You know, when you read about Acapulco, it was very popular with US politicians like the Kennedys, celebrities like Tom Jones and Elizabeth Taylor, similar to Puerto Vallarta. But now it just doesn't have that feeling, and it's really sad in a way, and that's the overwhelming theme that I've had in comments so far. And in terms of deterioration, what I mean is by buildings around me, it feels like they just haven't been updated. They are very dated. A lot of the signage outside the front of shops just feels, you know, like it's back in the 60s. It feels a lot like, you know, Havana in Cuba, strangely. So yeah, I actually quite like Acapulco. You know, I'm not going to be negative about Acapulco because I want to be positive, because I like it here, honestly. But there is that issue of the fact that it is slightly dilapidated in places. It hasn't been looked after. When you think of Puerto Vallarta in comparison to here, and the areas like this in Vallarta, they're very different. It's clear that they've been updated over time and generally looked after in terms of being a popular tourist destination in Mexico. So we're going to look out for some awesome spots in Acapulco in this video, so let's get going. I'm just being distracted by a child next to me. VW Beetle. We're heading uphill now. I've come out of the Zocalo area. We're going back there later, don't worry. And I wanted to say something that I've noticed that there's an increased police and military presence in Acapulco. I know that everywhere in Mexico you have police on the streets with guns and everything, but I'm definitely sensing more of a presence here. You know, and if you're someone that isn't used to that sort of thing, it could be slightly, oh my god, but it's just normal, you know. I've not had a problem with police or anything like that. We're going to a place called La Quebrada, I hope I got the pronunciation right, which is a popular place out to the west of Acapulco Bay for one particular reason. I don't know if we're going to see that reason in this video, but we'll see. Now, for anyone that thinks Acapulco is a dump, take a look behind me. Look at the stunning view. You can imagine just being here in the 60s or whatever, you know, Jackie Kennedy, Elizabeth Taylor, Cary Grant, etc. coming here in their fancy outfits, lots of money, the place to be in Mexico. And then you think about what people think of it now. But this is just a reminder of the Acapulco that once was. Spectacular. I never thought I would say the word spectacular in Acapulco, but it just happened. La Quebrada. Beautiful. Stunning. So apparently La Quebrada is famous for cliff diving because the waters are very shallow, so it's very dangerous, risky for people to do it, but I can't see anyone doing it today, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to die. So we're going to continue to a really small beach that I've been told about. Taxi! So what was I saying about dilapidated earlier? You know, a lot of these streets down here at this part of Acapulco, they're just nothing. It's like a ghost town. And if you look at some of the hotels, you know, they look like they haven't been lived in for a long time. And a lot of the signage out the front, you know, it's very old school. Right, I'm walking backwards because of the lighting, and I'm beginning to understand what people mean when they say to me or ask me, is Acapulco deserted in terms of tourists? Because this area is deserted. Plus, hotels look like they're stuck in the 80s. They look like they haven't had a customer in months or years. It's so sad, because when I think about the area that I'm staying in, it's pretty horrendous in comparison to here. I much would have preferred to live here. It's just stunning. I didn't think Acapulco would become one of my favourite places in Mexico, but it is fast approaching that point. Made it to Playa Caleta, which feels like a private beach for Mexicans. I feel like I shouldn't be here, but I'm here anyway. It's cool. You got little food places, Mexicans on the beach, kids in the water, a brass band playing behind me and people dancing. What more could you ask for? So today's thought of the day is the fact that Acapulco may seem dilapidated and outdated and uncared for in so many ways, but Acapulco is alive and kicking. I think we've just seen that, and I think sometimes with travel it's not necessarily about what you can physically touch and visually see. You have to use your imagination in terms of history and imagining what it was like back in the 60s when the Kennedys were here and Elizabeth Taylor. This place was probably thriving. And it's so sad that it's not right now, even though that beach is an example of Acapulco thriving. So do yourself a favour, forget Puerto Vallarta and Cancun, get your ass to Acapulco, okay? quick bus ride, 9 pesos 50, 9.50, very cheap. Well, pretty much standard in Mexico for local buses. And I'm back in the Zocalo. Let's end this video with some comida mexicana, basically tacos. Excellent. Right, most places seem to be closing, so I've got simple tacos suadero. I had these in Palanco, Mexico City. Salsa, lovely. Lime, cilantro. Well, this is interesting salsa. It's like a greeny colour. I'm used to the red one. Lime, lovely, beautiful. It's always amazing how something so simple can be so beautiful. The combination of the salsa and the lime, heavenly. Okay, we're at that time of the day where there's no good lighting no matter what direction I face. And I'm going to be honest with you, I had a third one. Chorizo. It was the best. 10 pesos each, those tacos. Fantastic. Spot on. They really hit the spot. So I think you will agree with me when I say that Acapulco is an absolute effing gem. I love it. Especially that area that I went to today. You know? Absolute gem. So if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, leave a comment as well, and also subscribe, because there's a couple more videos coming from Acapulco as well before I go back to Mexico City. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. I can't see, and I'll catch you later.